because I'm trying to do something on it.
Oh, okay.
And we are live, guys.
But you're right.
We are live, so we'll give it maybe, what do you think, Kevin? 5 minutes? 5 after 7?
Yeah, because I don't know where the rest of our officers I'm expecting. I got a message that Frank will not be with us tonight. And I don't know about the Bryans.
We got a
Doug.
Brian. One
What's
Brian's
that?
in here.
One Brian. I don't have the full. I haven't done the whole Brady Bunch thing here.
KB0A. He just had
One Brian is here.
KB0A is here, but he has no picture.
He's hiding.
He has audio.
Here he
There
comes.
is. There he is. Cool. Let's see, Will. What are you eating, Will? Oh,
Meet in Panda Express with the kiddo.
I was going to ask you, are you eating Chinese food? And the answer is yes. Hi, kiddo.
All right, Bruce checking in, audio check, N6THN.
Out and clear.
Could you back it down just a little bit, Bruce? You're a little hot.
Yeah. You're 30 over, Bruce.
I'm yelling.
You're 30 over.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce, when was the last time somebody said you were hot?
It's this microphone.
Oh. It's a nice touch.
That microphone right there.
Who makes that golden jewel?
Oh, I don't know. China Express.
Yep, you pull down the gain a little bit. You're driving a little hard.
Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Hello, Don.
Hope you're having a good evening. Oh, look at that. He's got his Starbucks. I had my Starbucks a little while ago.
Well, right now it's just water. A little while ago it was filled with margarita.
Oh.
Who's got their TV on in the background kind of loud?
Oh, me. On mute.
Oh, it's you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah,
Sure.
Anybody out there a Raspberry Pi expert?
Michael, WG5EEK would be my best bet.
Yeah.
I think he's here,
Oh,
but listening.
wait! I see Art. I see Art Miller. His lovely bride is working on a connection.
This is Bruce. I'm a Raspberry Pi owner. Does that help?
Yeah, so am I. No, unless you're really good at it, I have a off the wall question for somebody to answer that I can't find an answer to anyplace else.
If Mike can't answer it, ask Ed, KK6RQD. Even though he's in Oregon, he does sign into our nets, and he has All-Star. He gets into our repeater. I could even get you his phone number if you want. We can do that offline.
Who's asking the question?
Mike, WB6WYF.
Oh, okay. What are you trying to do? An all-star hookup on the Pi?
No, actually, I'm trying to make audio work inside any browser that I can. It works great except for inside browsers, and nobody can seem to give me an answer.
Ooh. That is deep. Bruce knows more than he's letting on. Yeah, he is.
Come on, Bruce.
You're muted, Bruce.
First of all, you have to unmute your mic, Bruce. If we're going to brag on you, you got to unmute your mic.
All right. I was being courteous by not. Are you using Raspbian OS on the Pi? Is it a Pi 3 or 4?
It's a Pi 4B using the Raspbian OS.
And what happens when you go play audio from HTML5 on the web? What happens?
I get nothing through a browser. It works very well on VLC. It's just the browser. I get good video, just no audio out on the HDMI. Actually, no audio out any place.
Oh, no audio out from a browser when there's audio. Okay. Huh. Well, mine's got audio. I have a Pi 3 HDMI to the TV set, and it's got loads and loads of audio. It works great. Sorry to tell you that, but I don't know what I did to deserve that, but it works great.
It works great for me too. It's just only when there's a browser it doesn't work. It works for everything else except the browsers, and that's both browsers.
All right, did you try a test with say VLC? How about VNC, the media player of Victor November Charlie? And then how about one more thing, Cody? Did you try playing anything with sound over VNC or what's the other one? Kodi, KODI, VLC. I meant VLC. You said VLC works, right?
Yeah, I can put the videos that are on the web browser into VLC, and they work like a champ. It's just once they're in the browser, it doesn't work. And I had to stop this so the meeting can start. I apologize for taking up time here.
That's all right. When we get done, we'll just open it up for a little bit, and people can chat about whatever they want. But we'll get started here real quick. So it looks like we got about 13 people watching, and we got a pretty good Brady Bunch crowd on there. So we'll just do a quick. We'll open with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll go around to the officers that are here, ask if they have anything to offer for us this time, and then also I want to take a moment and give Art Miller an opportunity to say hello, and he can tell you how much of his story he chooses to share with us tonight, because I saw him get on and I think that's great. So let's do that. So I don't know, Jason, could you put up our American flag? Because usually, I think last time, I don't know who did that for us, but if we got it, we got it. If we don't, well, we'll move on. I don't have it. Anyway.
Yeah, it's showing on YouTube.
We got okay.
I can.
There it is. It's on the bottom corner.
Yeah, so we can see everybody.
We can see everybody. All right, you guys ready?
Ready?
Ready? Go. I pledge allegiance
to
to the flag of the United States of America
and
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
But the delay, that's kind of weird, but I'm glad we're doing it. And thanks, Jason, for putting up the flag for us. That was really awesome. So let's do this. Let's go over to the officers that are here today. Let's see. We've got Brian KB0A, our treasurer. We've got our other Brian, the professor. He's one of our board of directors, and let's see. Art Miller is here with us, and we're going to have him say hello in just a moment. So let's start with Brian. KB0A, do you got anything for us tonight?
Only thing I have is just a follow-up on the email that I sent out earlier today regarding the FCC is going to start imposing a $50 fee on all ham license renewals, upgrades, everything except address changes or things like that. So
Wow.
They're looking for comments. So here's a chance, and the link I sent out to everyone has an email has a link to the comment area where you can comment. Right now, there's no close date for the comments, but they are, you do want to do that because, that's kind of ridiculous to make it so expensive for everyone.
So so that would include if you want a vanity call, they're going to charge you $50.
Yeah.
So
$50 for a vanity call, $50 for a license renewal, $50 if you upgrade, $50 if you first get your license. Anything you do with the FCC is going to be $50.
wow, and that's for the 10-year duration of your license. If you
Yes.
didn't do anything, wow. You know what? What a great way to crush a great hobby.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
well, that's the
geez.
idea. Maybe they want to crush the hobby so they can sell off the band waves.
Yeah, it could. I don't like to be that. Anyways, yes, I agree. All right, you got anything else, Brian?
Nope, that's it.
All right, cool. Brian, the professor, you got anything for us?
Yeah.
kind of going off what Brian's talking about there, it'd be really interesting to see like the push. I could definitely understand on the higher frequencies to be utilized for data for mobile devices and stuff, but the lower frequencies and stuff would be kind of interesting for them to try to pawn that stuff off, as no one wants to play down in the basement anymore. They're scared of spiders. That's it.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, cool. Anybody else got any business they need or anything that would benefit the club? Because I'm going to turn it over to Art Miller here in a second. Anybody else? Okay. Oh, okay. And by the way, tonight's presentation, in just a few moments, we're going to turn over to Don in just a little bit, KM6INR. He has become a Mars member. Was that Military Affiliate Radio Service, I think.
System
Military Radio System, and that's basically that Mars program is they offer it's actually a public service. They do a lot of communications for folks. All right, so what we're gonna do right now is to see if Art Miller, if you can unmute your microphone and just say hello and give us a quick update, whatever you would like to do, Art. Your mic is still. Can you unmute his mic, Jason?
I can only ask him. I'm asking him now, and he's
Hello.
coming. He's coming through. Hello, Art.
Hello there.
Hey, Art.
What's going on here?
How you doing?
Well, we're doing pretty good. I think the question is how are you doing, brother?
Well, I have a burn on my leg. I've gone through the burn unit. I'm now recovering from the house. I saved my house. I saved quite a few of the structures. I lost my water pump building and a few other little odds and ends things, but I saved the house.
Wow, Art. Was it just you up there by yourself?
Yes.
Oh,
And
my.
Art. Were you I'm just curious, Mark or Art, if you don't want to answer all these questions, it's okay. But first of all, we're all glad that you're safe. We're glad that you're recuperating, and we're very, very happy that you and your wife got set up so you could say hi to us tonight. But were you literally the only one on your property, and were you using your well pump and your own fire hose, and you were your own fireman for your own property? Is that what happened?
I was the only one on the property, and I was using a McLeod to create a fire line so the fire didn't get near what I didn't want to burn.
What's a McLeod for those that don't know?
I'll tell you.
It's an oversized hole.
Yeah, it's an oversized hoe that it's an oversized hoe that's kind of almost the size of a shovel, but it's squared off at the end, just like a hoe. And what he's describing is not easy to do. And it takes. I salute you, brother. You. That's a lot of work, a lot of energy, Art.
Hey, Art, if there's anything you need from any of us, you just give us a call. We'll be there, Johnny on the spot, to help you.
Okay. Well, it looks like for the next couple of weeks, I'm kind of stuck in this bed. So I hope to be able to get out of this bed, and then it's going to take a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to start working again.
All right. Now, but people might not. Tell me if I'm getting this right, Art. You are a retired firefighter, aren't you?
Yes.
So Art knows what he's doing. That dude, he knows what he's doing, and that using that McLeod for that large area by himself. I even hesitate to ask. How big was that, Art? You must have done a couple thousand feet of brake line to get that going. And did you have a bladder bag with you or anything?
No, I did about a half mile of fire line. I did it all by myself. I got burned at somewhat at the beginning of it, and I went ahead and did 4 hours worth of work on that, and then after that, I drove myself down to Fairfield, where I met my wife and son. They took me to Kaiser Vacaville, who then brought me to UC Davis Burn Center.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Art, that's an amazing story. It's amazing. It's heartbreaking, and the happy ending is you worked very, very hard and you saved your property that you and your wife and family worked so hard to get. And brother,
Yeah.
I am so sad that you had to do that, man. That's almost bringing me to tears.
I had no idea.
That's, guys, I don't know if you guys, I can't stress enough. What Art did was hard. That was not an easy task. I have been out there on practice fire lines and baby ones that weren't that big a deal, and that was tiring. What this man has done is just nothing short of incredible. To be up there.
Usually they're done by 20-year-olds and about 7 or 8 of them in a line.
Yes, and they have bladder bags and they got people to back them up. And Art just did it on his own, brother. Hey, by the way, if you don't want to talk anymore, that's great. I'm glad you were here. Just hang out with us, and if you got something to add, just pop in. But I want to give you another opportunity if you want to say something else. But otherwise, I'm gonna let you rest because you still look tired, man.
Yeah, but please call us. Please call us if we can help you in any way while you're in a hospital. Even we'll help.
Okay.
Those of you who don't know, Art lives up in the hills up there by Lake Berryessa at his place, and the big fire that was raging through there a couple of weeks ago threatened his home, and that's what Art did. He stayed there and saved his place.
Art, which side of the lake do you live on? Do you live on the...
I live in between Circle Oaks and the Corners.
Okay. So I mean, that's just completely red. I'm currently showing Cal Fire here, and everything is showing that is burned there.
Holy cow.
Incredible.
That is amazing. I had no idea that happened to you, Art, until I saw the email today.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
How did John come out up there?
John who?
He lives on Steel Canyon Road.
Oh, I don't know. Steel Canyon Road is a crapshoot, man, because my buddy lived there, and one side of it, almost everybody lost their houses. The other side, my buddy, his main house didn't burn, but his rental house, so that was a really bad. So John who I don't know can you help me with the last name or a call or something?
My mind's not working enough to remember the name.
That's okay. I don't know. I just one of my employees, her brother-in-law and his family literally just moved up there about 8 months ago, and they live on Steel Canyon Road up in the area, and they lost their house and all their outbuildings. All they got left was the trailer that they had parked at my house, so now they're living in it. And then my other friend on Steel Canyon Road, they also lost one of the 2 homes that was on their property, and it was just really devastating. But Art, I'm really, really, really glad that you were able to, you know what, Art, I'm glad you're alive, brother. I'm glad you made through it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you guys just haven't been out in that stuff. It's not fun.
No.
Anyways, we'll focus on the good stuff. Art's getting better. His family's safe. His house is safe, and he gets to hang out with us tonight. Art, thank you for coming.
Okay, well, thank you for having me.
You're absolutely welcome, brother.
Take care, Art. Take care, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
73 Art from Bruce.
73s.
All right. Anybody else got anything they want to add, or just something, some good positive ham radio thing before we get into Don's positive radio thing? It's a extended ham. He's a Mars member, so we're gonna move on to that here real quickly. I mean, tonight was the last couple weeks have just been a little bit weird. Would be an understatement. So we got some people out, and as you can see, we've got some special circumstances. So, anybody got anything? Kind of open forum for just a moment, and after the presentation, we'll do it again. If you want to talk about ham radio stuff, ask questions, and so on and so forth, we can do that too. But nobody has anything. Let's move on to Don, KM6INR. He has a very well-structured presentation about the Mars radio program. Go ahead, Don.
Thank you, Kevin. And hello, everybody. I had no idea what I was getting into when I got into Mars, because it's just like it's expanded my mind. It's making it just like a big explosion with all the information and all the systems that they've got going. And I'm enjoying it immensely. It's very interesting. I did my first. I was net control station for the 9th region last night as the finish of my training, and I really am enjoying it. And there's a great bunch of guys. So I'll give this presentation that came from the public affairs group of the Air Force, and then we can share. We can talk more about possibilities for us and others. So this is the Mars is the military auxiliary radio system. And
hey Don, did you hit the share screen button?
I thought I did, but let me.
We're not seeing it yet.
Okay, I'm seeing it. I just let's see here.
So you want to go to the
share screen. There. Now go here. Are we okay now?
Yes, we're looking good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jason, for being there, keeping us all in the straight and narrow here. And here we go with this click. Okay, now we got a full screen. Okay, so Mars is basically Air Force and Army. The Navy doesn't seem to be involved, but it's basically Air Force and Army. And I'm telling you, it's one great group of volunteers, both ex-military, retired military, and civilians. And obviously you have to have a ham radio license to be in Mars. They have gone to the high frequency domain, radio frequencies, because, and they're doing some VHF as well, because when the satellites and internet came out, the whole military was thinking, we've got it made with satellites and internet. We don't need HF. Well, guess what? As they learned more about it, they decided, hey, those satellites are at risk, and so is the internet, and we need Mars. And so now Mars is becoming a very fast-growing organization again. It's full of modern technology. There's all kinds of operators and ideas going on. We report directly to the Department of Defense, and we're the contingency communications group. And we're learning more about our capability, and we're practicing, many of us daily. They have nets every day. I can't keep up with all of them, but I do as many as I can a week, simply because I enjoy it and I'm learning all the time. And we send data, HF through HF. We can do VHF as well, but and we use a protocol called M is in Mike 110 Alpha. The Army only uses that. The Air Force uses all the other modes. They do FL Digi, they can do FT8, Pactor, all these things, even WinLinks and so on. They bring it all together. The Air Force really uses it all. And we give support to not primarily the military, but if someone asks the military like FEMA or a DHS for help, we're there. And they reorganized in 2019, and now we're part of cyber. And matter of fact, we even evidently are getting involved in space issues up in around the Earth there. And this just talks about the reorganization. This was slides issued by the Public Affairs Group of the Air Force. And basically, they've overhauled Mars since the Vietnam era. What did they change? Why did they change? They're trying to match the mission and technologies, including Space Command. Isn't that interesting? They're restructuring Mars to match Air Force nomenclatures and standard operating procedures. And they're trying to eliminate all kinds of duplications and make it more efficient. And it's really changed since Vietnam's eras. And phone patch has become a big deal again. If you're a Mars member and you apply and you have a Yagi, rotating directional Yagi antenna, then you can be part of the phone patch network. And you can help the guys that are out in the jungles or everywhere they can't use a cell phone and talk to family. And we also work with, if there's ships out there, whatever, where we need military communications, they send it to us, and we forward it on if there's no one else available. And Mars is nationwide. They have what they call CONUS, which means continental U.S., and OCONUS, which is outside the continental U.S., is the way they're organized. There's 10 regions in the U.S. Here's the chiefs. Everybody's got their position and special call signs. There's about 1,050 active members and 100 emeritus members, and I believe it's growing now. So we'll look a little bit at history. And the 50s, this is what a well-equipped station looked like. And here's the way the radio stations and television stations, what they looked like. They were broadcasting, talking about Mars back in the 50s. And even if you remember Senator Barry Goldwater, he was a major Mars member and very active in amateur radio as well as Mars out in Phoenix, Arizona. W6IAB, Camp Pendleton. Now, I could be wrong, but the guy, Ron, I forgot his last name on Wind System, I think his call sign ends in IAB, and I don't know if it's the same guy or not. Vietnam activities there, that's what a Mars station looked like back then. But here's the new Mars in 2020. Here's what a modern Mars station looks like. And it turns out that I'm part of the, I'm going to be part of the base support group, base station support group right here at Travis Air Force Base. And as it turns out, the members of Mars are all over the Bay Area, and I'm going to be the one that's geographically closest to the station. So I got to believe I'm going to be pretty active over there. They've always been known as leading edge technology at Mars, but now it's highly digital. And here's the approved data modes. I mentioned some of them earlier. And down below, you see the transport media, HF, VHF, and this automatic link system where they actually have computers that take and track where there's stations all over the world, and they receive the station, the one that has the strongest signal, it automatically switches the transmitter to that band, frequency range, and so that it's always propagating the strongest, and it's all automatic. And then Air Force also uses WinLink. A lot of interoperability. The Department of Defense directives, they direct all Mars services, and we've been using, like I said, M110 Alpha, Mike 110 Alpha for HF data transport. And I've got all that software loaded on my laptop computer that I'm using right here. I bought a laptop computer strictly for amateur radio, and man, am I working the heck out of this laptop. We actually do encryption. And so anything that comes to us, it's encrypted, and we decrypt it here so we can use it, but we don't send anything in free form over the air. And we're going to have an exercise in the next month or so where they're going to be sending information. We're going to be receiving encrypted data, and we're not going to be able to decrypt it, but we will be responsible for forwarding it through Department of Defense channels, and only the military will have the decoding capability. But they're using us as a conduit to supplement the military. Here's the data modes. We've all heard of the AX.25 packet. And then they also use VHF for short haul, secondary and tertiary modes. And our base station here, Travis, we just started up a repeater on Mount Diablo. And last week I was given the honor of doing net control on that VHF repeater for our base station here at Travis. And the benefits are obvious. I won't go over them. And so the major missions and is to support the Department of Homeland Security. We're not normally involved with civil authorities, but we do support DHS. And we're kind of organized just like the military. We have wing or group commanders and so on. We never self-deploy. If something comes up, we have to go through Department of Defense before we act. And so there's a whole chain of command. Nearly, but not all Mars call signs are assigned to that were assigned to civil agencies have been revoked, allowed to expire. But we do operate. We can use our call signs for shares, which is the Homeland Security system, if we apply. And so if you want to get involved and do so as an amateur radio operator, and you can do that not using your Mars call sign, and I can show you how that works too. We also participate in the National Shares Resources Program, and that's an HF program with DHS. I mentioned that earlier. And we're growing and growing in that arena. Examples of Mars activities. There's all kinds of training seminars. And by the way, I just attended a webinar today. I was on it between 5 and 6:30. And we got the okay that if any of you guys want to attend Mars webinars and learn about what we do, I can make that available to you. Supporting the Department of Defense and DHS and entities is a big deal for us. And we do a lot of on-air testing and training. Like I say, I'll be joining the base support team. My training is over in the next couple of weeks, and so my call sign has a T, as in Tango in it. That'll be changed to an Alpha, so I'll be a Alpha Foxtrot Alpha, and I can't go ahead and give you my call sign because I'd have to shoot you. At any rate, like I said, we have data communications. CONUS is continental United States, and OCONUS is outside the continental U.S. I'm in Region 9. which covers the western states, Arizona, Nevada, California, Hawaii, and the Pacific possessions and territories. There's a big requirement for greater coordination and collaboration, and Mars has really been jumping to it with exercises and training. And like I say, I'm learning a bunch, and I welcome you guys to join me. It's a lot of fun. Significant events occurring this year. You can see we work with the Department of Homeland Security, Civil Air Patrol, the National Guard, the Pentagon, and other operational units, and certain other U.S. government agencies. We have regional traffic nets daily. There's state administrative nets weekly, trans-global nets, voice, digital, WinLink, ALE, Mars radio, such as phone patches that I mentioned earlier. We do military support daily. We have training nets daily. Automatic link establishment, I mentioned that, where the computers actually tell you what bands to use. It's very interesting. And we have emergency net practices and exercises, and regional joint nets between regions. And this is where you have to have a Yagi, a directional Yagi, to do a phone patch work. And that's a big deal. Mars Radio is the phone patch net, and they provide HF radio telephone service to aircraft from all branches of the U.S., the military, the Coast Guard, and the Department of Homeland Security. Staff 24/7, and they do over 2,000 phone patches a year. If you want more information, there's the link. The Military Support Net was started in 2018 and has a big legacy. Transcon Space Support Net and support to the U.S. government. And the Pentagon Mars Station operates under multiple call signs, and those are some examples. And the Air Force Mars members operate at the Pentagon Mars Station, and everything channels down to the field. New initiatives. This is interesting. We're getting involved with the hurricane hunters, helping provide communication and in-flight weather. We actually, I've entered it several times, broadcasted weather. And I actually went to a training program called Skywarn and got certified. The National Weather Service is training us, and amateur radio operators are welcome. And they teach you how to observe weather, because they found that the weather radar is missing. It goes off at 20 degrees from the angle from the Earth, and up on top there's no communications, no readings, and they need ham operators to look at places that radar can't hit. For example, radar doesn't go through mountains. So if you have an interest in this, science, technology, communications, I could get you involved. You need to be at least 18 and hold an amateur radio license. And if you don't have one, Mars will help you get one. There's the recruiting office. I don't get paid for this, but those are the contacts, and I have all that information. So make your hobby count for something, is what they're telling us. And I got to tell you that I just attended this webinar, and I found out more information about Mars. Outside of Mars, the National Traffic System it's actually international, and they have a whole network of ham radio operators that transmit emergency traffic, and we're learning how to take it from ham radio operators, that huge network, send it to Mars, and then convert it back into military logo and into the Department of Defense, and vice versa. So that's about it. It's a real fun thing, and I welcome all of you to get involved if you're interested, and I'll help you.
Hey, Don, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So for those of us who are not Mars educated, you talked about HF bands and VHF bands. You answered one of my questions. You have to have a amateur radio license to be a Mars member, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So once you become a Mars member, can we use our ham radios to participate on the Mars? And is the Mars program, is it operating somewhere within the ham frequencies, or do they have like their own channel?
We operate in the same general bands, but outside the ham frequencies. So if a ham and you have to have your radios, the limitation to ham frequencies removed. So I sent my 7610 to gigaparts because I wanted to maintain my warranty, and they converted it so that I could use Mars frequencies. And then I sent my 8900R VHF transceiver there, and they did the same thing.
Is there any
frequencies are different.
Is there any
ahead.
overlapping frequencies that we share?
The only overlapping that I know of is 60 meters. There's 4 channels that are primarily used for digital. Matter of fact, with this exercise, they're working with ham radio operators, and they're to communicate back and forth to Mars on 60 meters. That's the only band that I know of that both Mars and ham radio uses. Mars can't use ham radio frequencies otherwise, and vice versa.
Question.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, you were talking about the encryption. I take it the encryption is only on the Mars frequencies?
Yeah, for example, if they send us an email, we have to decrypt it. Even the emails are encrypted, and we have the software to decrypt it. We don't broadcast on amateur radio frequencies, or only on Mars frequencies, and that data is encrypted. Yes.
Thank you.
So you were talking about sending your radio off to get it modded so it would work on the Mars. Is that what's when you're looking in the catalog, and I've seen it, it says Mars Cap Mod. Is that what they're talking about, Don?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And also VHF, is it the same thing? Do they have?
Yes.
You mentioned you had a repeater, so if you send it off and have the mod done, I would imagine your ham radio and your ham radio would work on the Mars repeater once you've got your Mars license and your radio with the Mars Cap mod done.
That's correct.
So could we say that the average ham could kind of use his or her own gear once it's modified?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. Very
Now,
good.
your antennas are another thing. You got to make sure your antennas you're able to tune outside the ham radio bands.
Right. Anybody else got some questions for Don?
What do they exactly do on the HF radio? Do you know, Don? I've seen it for my Yaesu 8900, where they I think they snip a diode. But what do they do for HF? Do you know by chance?
It's similar things, and there's a website. I don't have it at the tip of my tongue right now, but there's a website I think it's out of Germany actually, that has all those mods on there, and you can go to that website. It'll tell you what to do. I just don't have confidence in myself to do that. I don't want to lose the warranty. I've spent a lot of money on my equipment.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'd rather Gigaparts handle it. And they only charge me like $40 or $50 per radio plus freight.
Yeah, I mean, that 7610's beautiful. I don't blame you there.
I tried to get him to give me a 7610, and I said I would do it, but he was afraid he wouldn't get it back. He would get an ICOM back. It's 746 Pro. He was worried. I don't blame him.
Hey, Kevin?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, they basically what they do is they unlock the radio, the transmitters.
Right, because your receivers are general coverage, and yeah.
Right.
I got
The transmitters are blocked by software, and they go in and remove jumpers, diodes, or what have you, so that you can now transmit outside the ham frequencies.
Interesting. Well, very good.
That's
Anybody-
correct, and you can use your current radios to listen on Mars, but we won't tell you what the frequencies are. Like I say, if we tell you, we got to shoot you. So the frequencies, we don't even broadcast the frequencies in free. We have them all coded. So if we say ABC 21, that's a certain frequency that we go to, and we all know what that is because we've encrypted the chart that tells us, or decrypted.
Excellent.
What format do they use? Are they still using just regular sideband on the HF stuff?
All sideband is upper sideband in Mars.
Oh, okay.
Even on 40 meters or 80 meters, it's upper sideband.
Gotcha.
You know,
And
for
we
some
broadcast
reason,
the data while our radio's on upper sideband.
I don't mind them encrypting our military communications. Don't mind it.
Seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this exercise is going to be very interesting. Talking about, we're working with the Department of Defense, and it's really going to be interesting to see how all this fares out.
So,
This
Don,
is my second exercise. This one's a big one coming up.
So if anybody listening, we got about 39 folks hanging out on YouTube, and I didn't count how many here on Zoom, but if anybody's interested, is it okay if they if the club members and visitors contact you to find out about the Mars?
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, they asked me a question. Not only we're looking for new members, especially out here near Travis Air Force Base, would be very helpful. They asked us about what's called a SET, Simulated Emergency Test, and surveyed all the Mars members to ask them whose radio clubs are doing simulated emergency tests. And we're not involved in that. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of clubs all over the country that are doing that, and they're also sending traffic via ham radio frequencies back and forth, and then Mars members on the ham radio frequencies pick it up and then retransmit it on Mars frequencies. It's a huge network. ARRL is involved in that. And a matter of fact, ARRL is coordinating, and the district reps, or whatever they call them here in ARRL for the East Bay, has all the information about what's going to happen locally, because we're working with the Relay League, the Amateur Radio Relay League, on this communications exercise that's coming up.
I got a pretty good question from the YouTube chat. Richard is wondering, did you need a background check? What
Yes.
kind of paperwork? Okay, so you submitted, probably the normal stuff, Social Security, all that information, and then they did a background check.
Yeah, and by the way, they make us all take a cyber and personal information securities course, and teaching us how to protect personal information. But yes, you do have to have a background check before you can join Mars.
Okay, and asking for a friend, can you be a convict? I'm not.
You can be, doesn't mean you'll get admitted.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Well,
Anybody
alrighty.
else got any quick questions? We're just kind of letting it hang here for a
Yeah,
minute.
I don't think convicts can own a gun, they can't vote, and they can't join Mars.
Thank you, Bruce, for that clarification.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Do you have to be able to have capability to work in all those modes, like FT8 as well as HF and VHF, or can you sort of specialize in one or two modes?
Well, actually, so far my experience has been I'm going to later on expand to other modes, but they provide all the software to you to work on M110 Alpha, Mike 110 Alpha. And so I have all that software, and the only thing I bought, even though the 7610, ICOM 7610 has the sound card and all that, they said it's too complicated with their software to do it. And so I bought a signal link USB and connected it to my USB on my laptop, and then into the back end of my ICOM 7610 data port, and I was ready to go. So you can operate with the software they give you, and all you need is to make sure your sound card works. And that was very inexpensive.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
And once you sign up, is there a certain time commitment they really need you to give?
It varies by region, but in our region, they would like 12 hours a quarter. So
That's not
basically, that's not bad. About 4 hours a month. I'm just so interested in it, I'm spending more time.
Yeah.
But 12 hours a quarter is all they're looking for.
Well, I think that's great, especially if you're at a point in your life where the kids are either out of the house or they no longer like you. And then, naturally, if you're finished with the main part of the work in your life, maybe. But, man, I can't wait. That sounds so much fun. But for me right now, I'm chasing too many chickens around.
Well, you have a growing family. I get it. I went through all that. So
if I have one more question for you, Don.
Sure.
So if someone were interested and wanted to go, let's say, does Travis still has a Mars station, correct?
Yeah, they have a Mars station at Travis. You can operate there. We just haven't been able to operate there because of COVID for a while.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I think
okay.
We're
So
going to have
we
our first meeting over there on the 19th of this month.
that after the 19th at some point, you think it'll have an opportunity for prospective hams to go see what it's about out there?
Yeah, I think I could get you. I could arrange for a visit. We get you a visitor pass to get in the gate and take you over there. I'd be happy to do that. And those of you that are technically oriented and want to get in there and fix equipment, they have a whole inventory of things of equipment that needs to be fixed. And then they have equipment that they're using. They have a big antenna farm if you like to work on antennas. Well, everything HF is all there.
Well, maybe I can bring my cameras when we do this.
Well, that I don't know. I'd have to ask.
For sure. Yeah, the last time an M16 was held to the back of my head, it just didn't end well for him.
No, that's right.
All right.
Excellent.
Well, they only held the M16 to the back of your head because you weren't wearing pants.
Wait, you need those in the flight line?
I've had one or two of those calls out at the main gate.
For sure.
Yeah, but were you wearing pants?
I was on duty, so yes.
Good. Glad.
Not the Pacific blue and shorts and little biker shorts.
Considering what you ride around on, I'm really glad.
Yeah, no. Back in my old patrol days, and the radio keys up at Lincoln 476. Go out to the main gate. They've got a naked dude trying to run the gate. Great.
Holy smokes,
Jason! What were you thinking? Jeez.
Well, it only happened after I ran my car into the visitor center. I thought I was getting on Highway 80.
Oh, okay.
That's a true story, except I wasn't the driver.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That happened probably 2006, 2005.
Were you on your mobile rig calling CQ?
I did not think ham radio was cool back then. What do you think about that?
Oh, my.
What were you drinking, Jason?
Yeah, well, actually, my first meeting was about 2007 at the fire station. And the off-road and Jeep community led me toward the light of ham radio. And then I met a girl that same year, and then we had a kid, and I didn't find you guys again until 2016. So how about that?
Glad you did.
Absolutely. So what is on everyone's mind? I think, Kevin, we can probably open this up for kind of an open forum.
Yeah. I was just getting ready to... I was going to use the secret squirrel message machine and say, go ahead and post the link.
Okay.
You know,
See how many people we can squeeze in the Brady Box bunches.
And we'll see how what Jason's going to do is push the magic button, and he's going to allow all 37 YouTube viewers the opportunity to join us on Zoom. That's right, folks. Not only can you see us, we'll be able to see you. Not only will you be able to hear us, we'll be able to hear you. And we value your comments
now
and your participation.
Now, earlier there was some good discussion about a Raspberry Pi. You know, I think a lot of people are doing this. So does anyone have any more information for Mike there about, you know, his audio bit of setback with his Raspberry Pi? Well, I guess we don't have the geek in here right now.
That's exactly the same reaction I get out of the Pi community on their help sites.
Sorry, man, I tried.
Well, personally, I prefer peach or apple, but I guess raspberry will work.
Now, Richard in the chat might have some information, but he said he'll be right back. Richard E.
Yeah, I'm sure KK6RQD would be able to help.
What I was trying to do is I was trying to find out if I had a defective machine before my warranty ran out, but that didn't happen.
Is that Brandon? Did Brandon join us? I can't tell. Is that him?
Okay, so Mike, thank you, Mike. He posted a link. So let me scroll up and see if I can't get to that link. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Mike, this is Bruce. Did you load your Raspberry Pi with the full OS or one of the smaller versions of the OS?
I used the new OS that came with the machine. That should be the full version.
Because I've got 3 Raspberry Pis, and all of them have great audio over HDMI.
You know what you may want to try doing is plug some headphones into the headphone jack.
Is it doing one of those, like, are you a robot?
I've tried the headphone jack. That also doesn't function, but I don't think that's... I think that's more a lack of understanding where to set the settings than it's broke. I was going to do that after the net tonight.
So if you have the chat box open for Zoom, I reshared the link that Mike was so kind to give us, and it goes on to some information and articles. I unfortunately know nothing about the Raspberry Pi, although I'm very intrigued. This area does not have an APRS digipeater, and I think if I built a Pi, boy, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I just turned a Pi into a media server to use with my Amazon Echoes to play all my music. And the biggest problem I had was trying to figure out how to link it to how to get it to link to one of my network attached storage drives. But I got that to work last night.
Awesome. Well, that's great. You know, sometimes you spend way more time than you ever thought you would need to getting these computer-type devices to work, but it can be very rewarding when it happens. So I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I didn't. It does exactly what I bought it for. I just had to play a video the other day, and I didn't want to log onto another machine. That's when I found out I had the problem. Now that I know I got the problem, I want to solve it.
Yes. And you stay up until 3 a.m.
Well, Mike, this is Bruce. Maybe the web browser is out of date. Have you done that sudo update and then follow that with a
sudo get app update,
and then sudo get app upgrade?
Yeah, I've done that. I've also updated the sudo app upgrade Pi or whatever it is. There's three sudo updates to do, and I've done all 3 of those. In fact, I do those regularly, about once every 2 weeks, because they recommend that.
Okay.
Have you checked the volume controls?
Yep, check the volume controls. It just I can take the videos that are in the browser and put them into the VLC. Copy the address over to it, and they play like a champ. It's just the browsers that don't seem to be doing it, and I've had all kinds of ideas about it. That's why the ALSA, the thing that everybody's talking about, ALSA and the other sound system, don't apply, because I actually have sound like I'm supposed to. It's just only in the web browsers.
What browser are you using? Firefox or something else?
I'm using the Chromium. Wash my mouth out for saying that.
Oh, okay, Chromium.
And Firefox.
Or Firefox. Okay. Okay.
Hey, Greg KN6KIE here. That link that Mike sent, that Allus Utils, actually gives you hardware control over that sound card. That looks promising, quite honestly.
Okay, that looks good. Mike, Gregory, did you see that?
Yeah, I got it. I'll take a look at it.
That link?
Element14.com.
Yeah.
Web Raspberry Pi.
And I'm guessing Mike the Geek is slightly tied up right now, but possibly if you go on the website for the club, you could get his email, and you could very easily contact Mike. He might have his email on his website. Matter of fact.
Let me just read his phone number to everybody and his address and his PO box number. Hold on.
No, don't do that. That's not right.
How about his social security number and bank account?
I'm working on that with Don.
Hey, so switching gears for a second, I see Bob Hawkins has joined us. Welcome, Bob. I'm kind of curious, and I'm sure other people are. I've noticed on social media you've been quite busy with the CART team. Could you kind of fill us in with some kind of the activities you've been doing, either testing or actually deploying?
Yeah, hi everybody. The night of the LNU complex, the animal control activated Solano CART, and so we started out around midnight doing animal evacuations. That would have been Tuesday night at midnight. And the team ran for basically 10 days. We did evacs for probably the first few. By Sunday, we were doing shelter in place for animals that got left behind. And then through that following week, the team pretty much kept a shelter in place, feeding, watering, taking care of animals out on the properties.
Wow, that's incredible. And I guess I should back up for a second, and I use an acronym maybe not everyone is familiar with. But what does that stand for again?
So Solano CART, Community Animal Response Team. It's a large animal rescue team. So it's primarily set up to haul livestock out of burn areas and bring them to a place for shelter. So we brought most of the animals to either the Solano County Fairgrounds in Vallejo or other private properties. Some of the owners had arranged to have their animals cared for on other properties. So I think the total, I don't remember the breakdown, but 200 animals. We had horses, donkeys, sheep, lots of sheep, alpacas, emus, chickens.
Wow.
Dogs, cats.
and probably
cattle.
I was there, maybe it's been a year or so, maybe more. I was there when they kind of came to us because this organization, they self-assembled. They went through, I believe, all the background checks, and they're part of the sheriff's department, kind of like an auxiliary unit. But then they very quickly realized using cell phones just didn't cut it. Either there was bad cell phone reception, or it was very challenging to run kind of a, what would you call it? A situation where you have multiple units, multiple people, you have a dispatch, you're trying to organize, pass traffic, allow other traffic to hear that traffic. So it was an incredible opportunity because I think they maybe 5, 6. How many hams do you think that is in that group now?
So we've got around 10.
Okay.
But not, when you get an activation, not everybody's available.
Sure.
So that first night at midnight, I set up the our Go kit at the command post out on Lock Road, and we had 2 of the hams that are in the club, Evan and Vicky, were out doing evacuations, and we did set up a really quick net where we kept track of their activities. And then about 2 a.m, we had to evacuate. So broke down the go kit, and then we ended up over at Mission Church with the sheriff's office. And at that point, we were going into the fire with escorts. So we didn't run a net probably until Sunday. Then I set the radio up again, and we only had a few hams out in the field, but we did use the radio, the repeater, to keep track of everybody that was working. And, really there's some advantages, just like the public service agencies, people hear what's going on when you're on the radio. So it's a one-to-many conversation, not a one-to-one that you have on the phone. So,
right.
But we could always use more hams. There's like Dawn and Mars, there's quite a bit of training that's involved.
Yeah.
But, it's a really good opportunity to support the community, especially with large animal rescue.
Yeah.
Where were you located? Where were you guys located? Central.
So we were there with the sheriff's office at the Mission Church parking lots where they had the staging. So they had the mobile command vehicle, a big RV out there. We were set up next to them, and we helped the sheriff's office coordinate escort service for people to go back in and feed their animals. And then we also coordinated the evacs and the shelter in place. But we worked directly for animal control, under that activation. And so we're all sworn disaster service workers. So when we get activated, we're covered by that. But we are working directly for animal control.
I want to give a little info here. Bob Hawkins, KM6 Big Z, he's not only involved in CART, but Bob is our Solano County OES radio officer. He is the amateur radio officer in charge, and he also runs the ACS, which is the Auxiliary Communications Service or unit. I'm not sure what we're calling it these days, but that's also a division of the Sheriff's Department. And I give a little props to Bob. Since he's taken over, it's been much better. We've got more people involved. He orchestrated the inclusion of CART with the ham radio and assisted them with whatever they needed to communicate with the OES and Sheriff's Department. So if you have any desire to volunteer in that capacity, Bob is the person to talk to. And Bob, you did a great job. I got to go out and visit them at on Leisure Town Road at the Mission Church, where the CART group was there, and the Sheriff's Department was there, and many other organizations. And I got to witness how they worked and how efficient they were, how friendly they were, and how open they were to folks that would show up and say, "Hey, what can I do?" So if you have any interest in this, hey, let Bob know. I'm sure that Bob and Vicky and Evan and others would just and Bob, help me out. It's not just Vicky. The other lady's name is falling right out of my head.
Well,
Jackie.
You mentioned Jackie and Evan. Yeah, Jackie Post, Evan.
Yes.
And Vicky are all club members.
Yes.
Jackie and Evan are in ACS. So.
And it just
I really appreciate the plug, and definitely folks are interested either in the ACS with the Sheriff's Office or Solano CART. We definitely could use more hams.
I think I want to take this opportunity after the plug, but it's not just a plug. It's the club. I often hear as a president of our club, why isn't our club participating in some of this stuff? Well, Bob really hit the nail on the head. When CART gets activated, those individuals have already been vetted to whatever level that the Sheriff's Department and the state require, because you can't just show up with typically, I'm not going to say never, but typically you can't just show up in your car, your pickup truck with a pile of ham radio, some orange cones, and a hat, and say, "Hey, I'm here to help," because there's training involved, there's protocol, and these people have it down. And it's the same thing goes with the ACS, the communications side of it. And so if you want, our club happens to have a lot of hams in it. Often there's interest, and we have a really nice repeater system and a great all-star connection. And long as this stuff doesn't burn down, and by the way, it didn't, it kept working just fine. All of our stuff kept working just fine, and they get to use it. And so does ACS, and so does our club. So if you are interested, check out Bob at the county OES and the CART. They're all tied together in some official capacity, and you show up and you've been vetted, you got your shirt on. Those certainly welcome your help.
I'm showing some photos here, and I kind of want to go pick up a baby llama. I'm on their Facebook group, and it appears they're out there training. And boy, how much fun is this? Now, Bob, let me ask you: is there an age limit? I'm guessing maybe 18, or can 16-year-olds come out and help?
Oh, that's a great question, and I don't know the answer, but I don't know if Jackie's on or Evan, but I think to get sworn in as a disaster worker, you probably have to be 18.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm just thinking for people that have, teenagers, can you bring your teenager, get them a part of it? But maybe you can let us know in a month or so, next meeting.
Yeah, I could let you know at the next meeting.
Great.
So, something else I noticed too, I got invited out by Bob and Jackie. I think it was end of the year last year. They had a training out at one of the members' ranches, and they were looking for amateur radio operators. And I think what's kind of important to understand is you don't necessarily have to be an animal expert. They're looking for radio operators. Like, I don't know anything about horses and llamas except they're cool. All right, that's it. Now, with that said, they stuck me behind a radio and gave me a person that knew what was going on. I operated the radio and I handled the traffic, passed it on to the individual that knew what they were doing, and they can send out an amateur radio operator with one of the other individuals that know where they're going, what they're supposed to do, even though you're sworn in and you're covered under the insurance and all that bizwax. The radio operators are important because there's members of these organizations that they're never going to be a radio operator, but they are part of that service, and they would welcome a radio operator to get in the vehicle with them and go, because some of the places Bob's people go, your cell phone just don't work. So it's pretty it's an important thing. And
yeah,
I got to go ahead, Bob.
That's a key point, because we really are looking for communicators. And like Kevin, I mean, I can barely tell an emu from a llama. So, they tease me all the time because I know nothing about animals. But I know radios, and that's what you guys know. And that's really, the concept is you'd go out as a communicator as part of a evac team. And of course, that also gives you the opportunity to stand back and be a safety officer for them, because once they're focused in on the animal, they don't have a lot of opportunity to look around and keep aware of what's going on around them. And it got pretty dicey out there for some of the teams, especially the first couple days. So it's important, and that's kind of what we're working on. So yeah, definitely, if folks are interested, it's a real good opportunity.
And then did we?
I can. Sorry, I think I'm cutting you off, Jason.
Go ahead, take it, Will.
Hey, I mentioned this on the net a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to reiterate, Bob. My missus was out at the ranch hotel with all the other horse owners out there trying to get organized the morning of that, Wednesday morning, and was very impressed with the 2 CART members that showed up and were helping get them organized. So it definitely made an impression on several ladies out there who got a little bit of information and got a little bit of coordination from your people.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll pass pass it on. And the knowledge of some of the people in the group just amazes me. How their knowledge of animals, how to handle them safely, how to get them in those trailers. It's just really impressive. And that's what the training is that we do. Kevin helped out on one of the trainings where they were actually loading horses. They've done training where they've loaded sheep, and they actually did a bunch of training with llamas, or alpacas.
And what I was going to reiterate is, when stuff like this happens, our weather is still very smoky, very ashy, but it's very important to be part of these organizations in today's time, because you can never just self-deploy, and being part of CART will get you to the checkpoint where you'll see a police officer, a sheriff department deputy, and then you'll be able to pass through, and that's, as amateur radio or people that want to help, you can't when it all goes down unless you've done the work previously, and that's kind of a big takeaway here, at least for me, Yeah,
that's a great point, Jason, because I've had several conversations with different individuals that say things like, hey, why can't we just all get out there and go? Well, you can't. You don't know, because to be clear, when I was, Bob said I was out with, I think it was the horse training that day. Yeah, I didn't load even one horse. I didn't try. I loaded the radio back in the car when we were done. Yeah, that's what I did. I took care of the thing with the battery. The people that knew what they were doing took care of the other stuff.
Yeah, and I would mention too that even though we do have the ACS, we didn't get activated during this emergency because the communications didn't go down for the county. So just like you hear for normal ARES groups, where ham radio, the communication of last resort, county didn't need to do last resort communication. All their primary law enforcement and fire channels stayed up. So, again, it's another avenue to help out a group that needs communicators, and it's a great way to get in and help out the community.
Bob, when things get closer to back to normal, aren't you involved in some other events that are non-emergency related but community service related, that individuals could volunteer and get some hands-on experience on using their radio and communicating with others?
Yeah, I think this year, obviously it's been pretty tough. And even for us, our one event of the year, Merriment on Main, has been canceled.
Yep. So,
that is our opportunity to simulate emergency operations the way we did it last year and the way Bob Hewitt ran it. You basically checked in, you got your assignments, you had your frequencies. Even though it's on a small scale and it's much more fun, it does simulate how you would operate in an emergency. All the other major events are canceled, the marathons, the bike rides, the horse rides. But in a normal year, there are quite a few different, what we'd call public service events where you can help out. The two big ones around here are the Davis bike rides, one in the spring, one in the fall. There's the California International Marathon in Sacramento, Oakland Marathon in Oakland, obviously. And all kinds of other opportunities if you wanted to get out and help with an event, either standing next to a first aid station, standing on a street corner, watching runners going by, reporting any issues. Or even setting up, using your radio on your bicycle. That's what I've done in a couple events where you follow the event participants. So lots of opportunities in a normal year. This year, pretty tough.
Great. Thank you, Bob. I think what we're going to try to do in the foreseeable future is, we've had a lot of interest on in the club and just in general on Ham Radio TV channel, the 2 Meter Crew, talking about tea hunting, which is the activity that we hide a little teeny transmitter somewhere and it's putting out a little tone and we go find it for fun. and we're thinking about doing that again. And then after we do that, we're considering doing a full blown, a fox hunt. And what that means is somebody, the lucky winner or loser, depends on how you look at it, gets in their car and drives somewhere and parks in a safe public spot and sets their radio on low power, high power. We don't care. We've even had people do crazy things like unscrew their mobile antenna, hook it to a small beam, and point it away from their vehicle in a goofy direction. But they transmit for 1 minute and they're quiet for 4 minutes. And it's the teams, usually teams of 2 or 3 from the clubs. And we go out and we find that person. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. So we've been talking about doing that. So if there's interest in that, throw it up on the chat. Say, yeah, I'm interested in that. Drop us an email or bring it up on the on the Tuesday night net. That's something that might interest you, because it's been a topic lately, and I thought it might be fun to do that and learn about your radios and have a little fun finding the transmitter. Maybe.
Hey, Kevin?
Yes.
On the disaster worker volunteer program guidance, I've been looking at it on the net while we've been talking here. Mm-hmm. And on the application, there's a place for parents to authorize their children to work in disaster relief as a volunteer. So it appears there's not a hard number. I couldn't find anything that gave a hard number on age. I think that you have to have the parents.
My question for that would be, what agency is that? And does that agency require the parent to be a card carrying member, and their son or daughter gets to come with them?
It didn't say that, but it could very well be. But I just went through the whole umpteen pages, and I couldn't find anything that locked down a age. It just simply said, if they're underage, whatever that means, they have to have parents' authorization.
Gotcha. You'll have to defer that to a radio officer, because I don't know the answer.
Yeah, and I'll check with Jackie and Vicky and see if there's an age limit for CART. I know the sheriff's office runs a cadet program, so and that's part of why we take that youth protection training. So I know the sheriff runs kids under 18, but I'll check with Vicky. She'd know.
Cool.
Yeah, with search and rescue, we had an Explorer program that was run underneath the direction of the Boy Scouts at Napa Search and Rescue, and we had minors there.
What was the youngest, you think?
We had 12.
Okay.
But again, it was under the auspices of running under the Boy Scout rules.
Sure.
And they were overseeing it, but it was an Explorer program with search and rescue.
Yeah, we had the same thing with the county fire department here too, and exactly, it was under the Boy Scouts. Yep. All right. Anybody else got a question, a topic? We're running at about about 83 minutes here, so coming up on an hour and a half. If we got something on somebody's mind, or a particular question, or something you want to share quickly, or let's do it now. Otherwise, I'm going to say we're getting close to possibly winding it down. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah. I mean, kind of open forum, everybody. So feel free to unmute yourself. You should have the ability there.
Yeah. I don't want to run anybody off. I don't want to close it down too quick. I just don't want to hear crickets.
I found the information. I just found it. It says volunteer team, Solano County. I was checking under OES. It says if you are at least 14 years of age and have the desire to serve your community, OES has a program that may meet your needs. Come and join the many volunteers, et cetera, et cetera. So it looks like it's 14 years with parents' authorization.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because at 14, that is recognized nationally as far as the child labor laws go. I know that because in Pennsylvania, I became a volunteer firefighter at 14, and I was 13 when I learned about the truck crew, and all I could do is hang out in the engine room and wait till I turned 14, and then I rushed the paperwork home for my parents and got them to sign. So yeah, very good. 14. That definitely adds up.
I got one more thing throw out there. Many years ago, and I remember this because it was interesting to me, there was an article in QST in order to build a digital RDF finder that had like 6 antennas on it, and you put it on top of the car, and then you dialed in whatever frequency you wanted, and it will give you the exact heading based on due north. And I sent off to QST to ARL to see if I can get a copy of that article because it had the diagram on how to build it. And I'd like to build a bunch of those because I got really ticked off the other day when somebody kept keying up on somebody else, and I'd really love to find them and get about 6 of those made and then spread them out through the area. And then when something like that happens, you just pull it up and put in the frequency, and it'll tell you exactly where it's coming from. And with 6 different people having that, then you could triangulate so fast it wouldn't be funny, almost to the nearest doorstep if you have a good enough map. Over.
That's cool. Well, there you go, Art. He's implementing my suggestion. Get a cool idea and put a body behind it. So the sounds like the schematics are on their way. I'm interested in that too.
Well, I wouldn't say they're quite on their way yet, but I mean, I got to give time for the mail to get the letter back there. But I made the inquiry. It's, if I remember correct, it's got to be over 20 years ago, and that was when first integrated circuits first started coming out, and it was an integrated circuit, so. I would imagine somebody had some knowledge on integrated circuits. They really could soup that puppy up.
Wait a minute. You mailed the inquiry off 20 years ago. We still haven't heard back. Man, that's the post office needs some help if that's the case.
No, I mailed the inquiry off just this last week. But
okay. I'm just checking.
The article was about 20 years ago.
Okay.
I was interested in it, but I didn't have the electronics background in order to do that.
That's great. Let's take a look at it, and we'll give it to Bruce. And in between working on his robot, he can help us with that.
Okay, I'll build 10 of them.
All right, thanks, man.
I like it. I will let everyone know that's here or listening. So in 2 weeks, not this coming week, obviously, the following week. On a Wednesday, the 2 Meter Crew Net, I'm going to have a gentleman on that knows a lot about APRS, and we're going to kind of dive in and learn more. And what's kind of interesting, and I would, only imagine Bob with the CART team and the Sheriff's Department would really benefit in having an APRS system, although I do understand, these radios can be more expensive. That's adding more equipment. And, when it's time to respond to emergency, you might not have time to fiddle with some of this stuff. But it is extremely interesting to be able to see your little blimp on a map and possibly manage those blimps, if you're in a situation.
Yeah, APRS is very handy. I think there's 3 of us now in CART that have radios with APRS. Hasn't been much interest in the sheriff's office. I know SARS kicked it around, but of course it's not on the public service band, so there's an issue there.
And it's hard because these radios, if you're going to buy a radio with it all built in, you are looking at probably plus $350, I think. Maybe you can find one cheaper.
Well, remember this, guys. If you build something cool and it works and others see it, they will come. They will want you to show up and help them because you got the cool stuff. Just saying.
Kevin, Ted is in the chat. Hello, Ted. You can join us, Ted. There's a link.
Ted, yeah. Thought we told Ted it was a requirement that he had to join and put his picture in.
He likes to lay low. There was a comment. That's what he's pointing out. Okay, so how do you say that? So there's a chat if you're watching YouTube. Kerberos. Kerberos SDR. It's only 4 antennas. So there is a type of SDR out there with 4 antennas. He's at the wrong computer. Sounds like a terrible problem to have.
Ted, get your computers organized, will you?
Okay, Kerberos. Let me get in that into Google. I like how Ted put that. What do you call that in the dictionary when you see a word and it has the enunciation?
Yeah.
What a guy!
Like what it sounded like is it's sounding almost like the low jack systems on cars, where it's got the 4 antennas on it.
Okay. Yeah,
it's gonna be the
and I will.
same.
Sorry, Will.
No, that's
Kerberos. Kerberos is the 4-headed dog, isn't it? Kerberos, like Greek mythology.
It's a security protocol.
Cerebus?
No, Kerberos.
Kerberos. Okay, we got Richard.
Yeah, my Greek's not very good. Kerberos, yeah, I believe it's Kerberos. But it's like a 4-headed dog. It's like a Greek mythology thing. And security set.
Well, look at all the knowledge we got in here. Holy smokes. Very good. Yeah, I also noticed...
I know all kinds of stuff that doesn't make me any money whatsoever.
Oh.
Kerberos, 4-headed.
I know, right? That is the truth. Bob BXZ, I will say I found there is an app. I did have to pay for it, but it said it was the official APRS.FI app. And right on the phone, now of course, as long as cell towers are working, right on the phone, you can turn on, I don't know if this camera can capture it, but I can have my phone turn into an APRS beaconing system. So I think it is a $7 app. You log in, load whatever, but in the event you don't have necessarily the money for a radio with APRS, you could turn your cell phone into it, being all the towers are up and running.
We were using an app called Glimpse, GLYMPSE, I think it's called, and it's a similar. It tracks your cell phone on a map.
Okay.
And you could put a group on it, and everybody in the group can see where everybody is.
Yeah.
So there's a couple apps like that out there.
Yeah, because
I was looking, Jason. I thought we used to have a APRS digipeater up on Mount Vaca, but I'm not seeing it on APRS FI anymore.
Well, I have just gotten into this a week ago, and so this would be post the fires, so maybe it's without power.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. I'll have to do some looking into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian said APRS.
Don't the FT2DRs have the APRS?
Yeah, the 2DRs, the 3DRs, the 400s, the 300s.
100.
And the what? The 100?
The 100.
Yeah. 100? Yeah.
How does the GPS work on the 100? Is it built in?
Yeah, the 100's got built-in GPS. The only problem is you can only run either video or APRS at one time. You can't run both because it's not a dual VFO.
So you can't talk.
Oh, so that's, so like on a 400, you can run APRS on the B channel.
Yeah, because it's a full-blown
channel.
Yeah, because it's a full-blown setup. Plus, also forget you can do the crossband capabilities with that too.
Right. So, Brian, do you remember, was there an APRS digipeater up on Mount
There
Vaca,
used to be one up there. It is definitely not showing up on the radar anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it's been.
You know who had it up there?
Oh, it's been a while since I've looked, and it's been a while since I've seen it there.
I'm almost wondering if it's the YARS group, the Yellow Amateur Radio Society, because that's where their Radio Shack is up there, and the fire burned out all the power,
and the repeaters just going on solar.
Yeah, they said they lost their packet side, so maybe that's part of it. I'll have to ask Gary on the next Monday night Yellow Aries net.
Well, there's your chance, guys. Slap a repeater up there before they fix their power.
So, and Jason, I don't know if you mentioned, folks can look online, and it is just APRS FI. APRS.fi is the website that you can track. And I see your weather station.
That's right. There's not many.
You can see our K6SOL gateway for WinLink.
Yep, I see that. It's got the big fat W over it. I'm right above you with my with my weather station.
Yeah, Brian, I see your stuff there. You got your weather. Yeah, so there's quite a bit. And it gets pretty busy when folks are driving around during the day.
Well, there is a lot of stuff going on. There's only a few weather, but I've noticed I don't know the term. I'm beaconing either in the Santa Rosa area or the foothills area or like the Pleasant Hill down there. So
I know exactly what's going on. You're dropping off the last bits of information for your actual information packet that you send out. So it's rounding off to whole numbers. So it's putting you at like say 122 even. So you got to go into the settings. There's settings in the 400 you got to change to actually put the details information on there. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick on that.
So, but what I'm getting at is I seem to be beaconing very far away stations.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's the power setting you got on?
Probably be hitting Diablo.
11. I have it 11.
Okay, there you go.
I have it all the way up max.
Yeah. Now there's been times when I've been in Fairfield and I've pinged all the way over to the one in Stockton.
Oh yeah, it's remarkable how far
mobile,
it goes.
Yeah. From mobile, so it'll read far away, and it's kind of nice. Except for where tomorrow when I head up into the mountains up there in Downeyville Highway 49 area, there is definitely some dead areas there where I can't even get into a repeater.
Kevin, one day you will unbox your 400 and also enjoy the things we are speaking about. There it is, still boxed.
So I played with something.
If you keep it in the box, nothing's going to happen to it.
That's right. It's perfect. Nothing's
gonna happen to it. Jeez.
Moisture and sunlight free.
You sound like my grandma in her china cabinet. Go ahead, Bert. I heard Bert in there.
If you want to donate that to Solano Cart, we'll put it in somebody's rig.
Yeah, I just got my van fixed. I was gonna have my new windshield and put my radio in, but because of all the ash, can you believe it? They thought coming out yesterday would be unhealthy for the installation guys, so they canceled my appointment. I was a little disappointed.
First world problems.
Yeah, windshield, two-way radio. Anyways, yeah, when I getting ready to put it in there.
But you're first in line now, aren't you?
Of course not.
Yeah. Bert, break in. You won't get a chance. You just got to break in.
So hey guys, I've played with the Bofang, and they have an APRS cable that you can hook up to your phone and then use the app that way to get APRS through the radio kind of thing. So you go with the frequency through it.
An iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you go through, I forgot the APRS Ultimate or something like that, some kind of app that's on there that's free, but then you can pay for the APRS service to be able to send out and stuff like that as well. But you're able to get the information from whatever radio station I forget what the frequency is for that. You can do that through.
Yeah, because, you're beaconing through RF at that point then.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Hey, I just looked up on the internet, and the Mount Diablo repeater W6CX, they have a Tuesday night APRS voice network meeting every Tuesday night at 7:30 on 147.06 repeater, and Barry KC6WYA is the net control. So if you're interested in APRS, there is a an avenue to learn more through that user group.
Oh, thank you, Don. So 7:30 on Tuesday.
Yep, on the W6CX repeater.
All right.
40 sucks, dear 60.
Very cool.
And Jason, see what I have here in my hand?
Something square, shiny.
Look at the logo.
Let me open this up. Okay, raspberry. A raspberry.
I have an extra.
You have an extra Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, so if you want to do what you want to do, here you go.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Brian.
That's how I don't accumulate too much stuff.
That's smart. Yeah. Is that a cat behind you?
Let's see here.
Over there on the little pedestal?
No, that's actually blonde hair.
Oh. I saw like a cat post. I was like, hey, that's a cat. Oh, it's your wife. Now I can see.
Off the screen a little bit farther is the cat in the lap.
Okay. Very good. I like that red chair behind you.
Oh, that right there. That's from the wife's family. I got this for her for Christmas a few years ago.
And what is that instrument?
That's a cello.
Okay. I didn't want to get it wrong and look silly.
And Don, if you're still on, I am officially wearing my shirt. Ta-da.
Ah, yes.
Yep.
Cool. Now that's what we should order for the club and make them available for the club. I think that would be cool.
Some members only.
They're already set up. He can just copy off of mine. Does it sort of get the name and the club and call sign right underneath it? There you go.
And who has this set up, Brian?
Specialties.
Specialties. Yep.
So if you're in Vacaville and you go over where the Dairy Queen is, they're back there. You can get a hat. You can get a T-shirt. I'm thinking maybe some gold jackets. You know, the gold members only.
Yes.
Oh, geez, we're going to go members only jackets? Really?
White bell bottoms.
Well.
Oh, God.
You go first.
No.
Hey,
we're degrading very quickly, guys.
Hey, white bill bottoms. At least he's wearing pants. Okay.
This is.
But if you're going with the gold members only jacket, why wouldn't you go with the MC Hammer gold pants?
Well, I don't want to push
pants.
it. You know. Nice pair of khakis and a gold jacket with our call signs.
It would go with your mustache.
Now we're talking.
And some Elvis sunglasses.
Well, I wear these. I don't know if you noticed. I started this thing on Wednesdays. I fire up the anti-net with these babies, and then what I do is I throw a little effects on it.
Oh Lord!
I listened to that from not just last night, but the week before. It was awesome.
Hey, you know, if you can't have fun in the hobby you're into, what is it worth?
You need a little gizzy that we can hook to our mobile radios, so we can do that all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, for the folks that don't know it, we are the funnest ham radio club in 2 zip codes. Okay, 2. Well,
Just 2, huh?
Just 2. Only one of the 2 in Fairfield and one in Vacaville.
That's why this club has grown so crazy
Lord.
in the last 3 years. Everybody's having fun and learning.
That's right. What it's all about.
And does CMF Solano have its own zip code? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We went there and that's where we're recruiting. I don't know how many people even know what we're talking about. Yes.
Oh my God! I'm telling you, this is degrading, guys. It's getting really bad.
So hey, real quick, I want to. Oh, that's Brian. It sounds like, huh? All right.
Wait a minute. We lost 5 viewers with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Here, I'll try to get them back. Did it? Ham radio. Okay. There we go.
Okay. Hey, real quick, I just want to say hi to Greg. Greg, I don't know KN6KIE. I don't know if I've talked to you before, but I just want to say hello and welcome.
Not too often. I'm actually rather new. Probably got my technical license about a month ago. Actually been speaking to Mike. I know he was working on his GMRS lately, and just been trying to get into it. I'm taking a lot of notes, fellas. Lots of good information here. Having fun. Happy to be part of it.
You're not taking those notes from us, are you? Just checking.
Well, a little bit, dude. You know,
I could give you some YouTube channels to check out. Okay, we'll talk later.
Well, very good, Greg. How did you discover ham radio? I'm always curious.
Honestly, I kind of an IT geek for a living, and I came up on like an old Kenwood TK handy talker maybe about 6 months ago. And I wanted to learn how to program it. And once I learned that thing, it just turned into I just fell over the edge. I just really dug it. And I bought my GMRS license, and then I got my ham license. And here's my newest purchase, fellas.
Ooh.
85 feet of LMRK. I'm going to put on my roof in about a week.
Everybody
for my
together.
antenna, but I can't buy anything else for a while because my wife will kick my butt if I do.
I'm there with you.
Everybody together. Ooh, LMR 400.
To keep the cost down, you need to connect that to a coat hanger.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, right. I thought I was cool. I started looking at antennas, and then I'm looking at this RG6 that I was going to just because I got rid of my cable probably about 2 years ago, so it's all still sitting on my house. And I realized it's just too much loss at 50 feet, and my antenna went out the window, and I bought that big line of cable.
Awesome. Well, I know it's kind of tough because we're not having meetings right now. But if you're I'm guessing you're probably a member. But feel free to reach out to us. We've got a directory, everyone's emails, phone numbers. Let us know if you're looking for something, unsure of something, need some SWR read with an antenna analyzer. Because for me, it was just a handful of years getting into it. And the only reason I'm successful is because of the people in the club and the Elmers that gave me support. So please, reach out to myself or whoever, is out there, because you're right here in Vacaville, I noticed.
Yeah. I'm over here in Brown Valley. And actually it's been I've been learning a lot and been starting to reach out on the radio a little more. So I'm totally having fun, and I'm glad to be a part of it, fellas.
Awesome.
You guys get on the repeater more and just start talking about this stuff you're talking about tonight. That's what the thing is for. And by the way, we are referring everybody to Jason the next couple weeks. Okay, everybody. His number is on the back side of the ham radio door.
I'm good on QRZ. Now, Kevin, or maybe I'm curious for other people in here. I've experienced some weaker reception from our repeater. Does anyone else experience this right now? Is this valid?
I got an email from someone who said they were having that problem. It was a little scratchy.
I'm going to talk.
Not having any problems.
No.
Depends on where you're at. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm going to beat him with a wet noodle, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, these kind of things, I always like to share the data, but understand it's, an hour drive up there and it's all volunteer base. So, I always let people know if I'm having a bit issue. I drive to Pittsburgh every day to work, and it used to come in really strong, and now it's fairly scratchy, and at times with lots of bacon, that frying popping sound.
I don't have an answer, but we'll find
Oh yeah,
out.
no. I mean, this could take 2-3 months. I'm just,
we will tear that tower down and put a new one up.
It's all about the squeaky wheel. That's the one that's going to get oil.
Tell you what, guys, I belong to the Berryessa Club as well, and for probably 2 years. I mean, it was before the fire that went up there and burned everything down. So here's the thing. The fire comes up there, burns, tower was fine, but melted all the antennas and the cables and everything. Everything inside the shack was fine. So he put up all new antennas, all new hardline cabling, that connects into an arrestor box, and then on the inside we're putting LMR 400 from the arrestor box to everything. Still having problems. I think we all thought it was part of the there was a bulletin board service up there, and every time it would transmit, it seemed that that's when we were hearing whatever it was going on. And I'm telling you, there's some smart guys in that club. Take about 50 of me, and you get about half of one of their brains. I mean, they are really smart radio-wise. Finally, is this upgrading that we're doing post-fire, our repeater trustees up there doing some work, and that lucky SOB decides to change the jumper from the cavities to the radio.
And that was it, huh?
And it's perfect now.
Did he change it from LMR 400 to 214 or something?
I don't know what kind he used, but apparently there must have been some sort of a short in that. I don't know what caused it. It'd be fun to put that jumper on an analyzer and see if it
you won't see it because those, well, we won't go into gory detail, but some of those cables, like LMR 400 with the dissimilar metals, you put them in a repeater site, and if the cable's long enough and if it's exposed to the right conditions, it will actually generate noise, and you beat your head up trying to figure it out. And then apparently this guy figured it out and where it was at and changed it.
That's called a thermal.
Lucky guess.
That's called a thermocouple.
Yeah, I don't know. He sounds like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Well, he's like I said, he's been our trustee for as long as I've been a member of the club, and he's like I said, he's an intelligent man, but even he chalks it up to dumb luck. And you know what? Better to have dumb luck than no luck at all.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Hey, Kevin, and those that like to hook up test equipment, I heard a pretty good story. I thought it was interesting. So similar situation, had a repeater, had this intermittent problem. But from what I understand, when you're working with an intermittent problem and you hook up a piece of test equipment for just a little, you might not capture it. And what they call that, just hooking up that test equipment for just a few minutes, is called a test-tickle.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's getting worse and worse by the minute.
All righty. Well, hey, real quick, let me talk to Josh. Josh is KK6SCN. Josh, I don't know if I've spoke to you before. Looks like you're calling in from Vallejo.
Yeah, I'm new. I'm kind of new to the radio thing. I got my technician a couple years ago I was supposed to have it for the power levels I was putting out for the FPV drone stuff. And then just like 6 months ago, I had a friend that was into ham radio, and I ended up getting my general, and I got a radio going, and mostly all I've been doing so far is FT8.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
And so you've been licensed for 10 years?
No, I've had my technician for, I think like 4 years.
Oh, okay. Just because I'm looking at your KK6 call.
Yeah, when did I get that? I'm not sure. I just got my general probably like 3-4 months ago. But awesome. I had the technician for a while. It might have been longer than I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Flies by. Thank you.
Well, welcome. How does the repeater sound to you in Vallejo? I know that can be challenging.
The only thing I have that can hear the radio is my little bow thing. And I can hear it when I go outside. I tried to call in during one of the nets one time, probably like a month or 2 ago. But I couldn't really reach it very well with my little bow thing, of course. But
yeah, maybe something on the roof.
Yeah, I just like a month ago I got a ICOM 706.
Oh.
MK2 G or something like that from
the
a
Mark
friend.
II.
And I have a HF antenna on it right now, but I also can connect a 2-meter antenna to it. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, that thing's a Swiss Army knife. That's a great radio.
Yeah. So hopefully soon I can get something up. And
all right. Well, let us know. You're just kind of over the hill. Often enough, we kind of forget about our friends in Vallejo. We forget they're part of our county.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well, there's always the Echo link on your cell phone.
Yeah. I logged into that once. I haven't tried talking it over it yet.
Can you get the Benicia repeaters?
I set up a couple, but I haven't really heard much on them. But I haven't sat on them for a while.
Yeah, they're those guys are on UHF over there.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a Vallejo one. We're thinking about thinking about trying to figure out a way to link them.
Yeah, that would be
with all the junk going on the last 6 to 8 months. That kind of came to a screeching halt.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd like that.
So maybe February of 2015 you were licensed there, Josh.
Yeah. Was it? Okay.
According to the FCC.
Yeah, I lost track.
I've got a little thing to share, just a little experiment I've been doing.
Please.
Oh, okay. Well, have any of you guys heard of these 18650 batteries? Whoops, that's upside down.
Is that alkaline or like a?
Yeah.
It's a lithium ion.
Oh, lithium ion.
Yeah, those are 3 volts.
Yes, and this is a AA right next to it. I'm gonna have to
they're
turn
the same. They're the same size. I've actually used those in something that's supposed to be a AA, and it really cranks it up.
Yeah, let's see here. My virtual background is goofing this up. So let's see.
Yeah, they're quite a bit bigger than a.
That's a.
Yours is bigger. I got some that are the same size as AA's.
This is strange. The background. Let's see. I've got to. Let's see. Got to turn off the virtual background here for a minute. And I will. And now it's gone. So anyhow, in the top is a standard old AA.
Yep.
And on the bottom is what's called a 18650. And they're they're like a AA cell on steroids, and they fit these these tactical flashlights. One of these.
Yeah.
The other flashlights need 3 or 4 of these stacked in 1, 2, 3, 4. Same lumen and everything. But these new tactical flashlights run on one battery, and they come with a USB charger, which this is the cable, type A to type C. The big one is type A, this one, and this one is type C, the little tiny one. And you plug the charger into the back of the light. You can charge it in there, or unscrew the light, the cap, and take your one cell out, and it's always upside down. This one's a 2650, 3.6 volts. So one battery runs your light nowadays, and there's a little adapter. See this adapter you need to make or get? You put a piece of clear tubing in there as a spacer, and then put your cell in there, and then use the same old cap and put it on, and then you've got a cool tactical light that lasts between 8 and 20 hours on one charge.
Wow, where'd you buy that light at?
On Amazon.
Okay.
And I've been going through so many of these dang double A's. And then this one battery, you can charge it 500 times or 1,000 times, and it's just like a double A. It's just like a double A on steroids. A little bit longer, a little bit bigger. And the part number is 18650. 18650 just means it's 18 millimeters across.
Oh, really?
And 65 millimeters long. So it's 18650 is the dimensions. And then this flashlight, if you take the spacer out, that plastic tube I showed you, then this flashlight will even hold the big brother to this battery, which is even larger. I think some of them come up to 9 amp hours. Some of these batteries are at 9 amp hours. So I've been experimenting with different brands. You got the green brand, the blue brand, and the light blue, and the orange, and they all claim different amounts. So anyhow, if you want to keep a flashlight in your glove compartment that lasts a long time, and of course it's got the variable focus, and they don't self-discharge too fast. They're really slow, so they'll actually last in the neighborhood of years, like a alkaline will. The LiPo, which is lithium polymer.
Very
and
cool.
They cost a couple of bucks each. The light costs about $10. The battery costs $2 or $3. And then you're done buying batteries.
Nice. Mark in the YouTube chat is saying people are putting these in the old mag lights, kind of hot rodding them up. And he's also said you can salvage these 18650s from laptop battery packs. And he goes on saying that the Tesla Model S ran on these 18650s.
Yes, that's true. This is a laptop battery pack. And
Bruce, you're doing. There we go.
And inside of it
is whoa,
a stack, 2 or 3, and it's exactly, they fit in here when you pop these laptop batteries.
How do you get in there? Do you use a saw? Just cut it right in half?
You have to go down this line with X-Acto knives and hacksaws and split it. But anyhow, in this package, there's 9 batteries.
Wow. Okay, so you're on top of this.
And you can buy these on eBay for about between $5 and $10.
Used.
I've seen some DIY like Tesla walls where people are using those things, just wiring them up and building a whole battery wall off of those 18650s.
Wow.
Yes.
I use those myself. I've cracked a couple laptop batteries open to grab those things out as well.
Oh, very good. Yeah, the Tesla, you mentioned, the Tesla has either 6,000 or 7,000 of these cells in the Tesla's battery pack.
And their chassis, and their chassis, it's pretty amazing actually.
They're all spot welded on the top with a little tiny fuse, a fuse from here to the bus bar, over and over and over and over, thousands of them.
No way! You'd think they're bigger in there.
They're not like the big batteries you'd assume. The Teslas that came off, I don't know what they're doing now, but up to now they've been using thousands of these 18650s in series parallel, and they're a very reliable battery, and they don't explode.
I've even seen like car builders, like small shops. They'll grab like an old wrecked Tesla and start to harvest those battery banks out of those chassis and build hybrid electric cars with them. It's really interesting tech. It's really cool what you can get done with those.
Yeah, it's a better battery than in the Prius. It's a better type of battery. The Prius uses nickel metal hydride.
Oh, you're kidding.
And these lipos, There's a new improved LiPo, by the way. Have you guys heard of the LiFe? L-I-F-E? Lithium.
Yeah, first. Yeah.
Lithium
Yeah,
iron phosphate. Lithium iron phosphate, and they're even less. These sometimes can explode, burst into flames, but the lithium iron phosphate ones practically are explosion free.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought one or two of those. Also, their voltage is a little bit lower. This is 3.6 volts, and the lithium iron phosphates are a little bit lower, so you got to lower your charger a little bit to handle them. So.
Well, that's what the bioenos are, the lithium iron phosphate, and then
Right.
they're doing that with motorcycle. I've got a battery in my motorcycle that is a lithium iron phosphate.
Oh, very good.
Very light too.
Yeah. Well, I've got a lithium iron phosphate right across the room, but yeah, these lights are very, very, very bright.
Oh, very
Hey,
cool.
Just burnt my retina out. Thank you.
Sorry for the retina burn.
Ouch. That's eye stress.
Sorry about
hey,
that.
Bruce, have you checked out the carbon foam batteries yet?
Not yet. And there's a sodium battery, and there's a liquid battery, and there's a sulfur battery, and there's an aluminum air battery, and there's all kinds of batteries.
Didn't we make a battery or a clock out of a potato once also?
Will, I'm so glad you're comfortable, Will.
Or done it.
Yeah, a lemon, anything with some kind of acid, and I don't understand the reaction, but it's oxidation. Some kind of oxidation happens, and a piece of metal is getting eaten up to give off electrons. That's what a battery does.
Well, good stuff. There is a number that was put here by Mark in the chat. Mark seems to be the battery guru here. He says the new Teslas have 21,700 cells. Of those, 21,000. He's saying
21,000.
700 of those little guys.
3-volt cells. Wow.
That is a lot of little soldering somewhere. I guess it's in America, in Nevada. They got a battery plant.
Yeah, but that's what the robots are for.
Yeah, perfect. I like it.
Tedious work like that.
If they can do that on
it's a cell size.
circuits, they sure as heck can do it on a battery. It's an automatic little machine. Just tack wells on. Hey, what happened to fusion? Bring up another subject. Or is that laughable?
Brian, that's your name actually. They're calling right now.
Yeah, I know that they're calling my name. I'm like, oh, you mean the one that's still sitting over at Kevin's place? It's on. It's working. Well, basically, I spent a Saturday up on Mount Vaca during the early phases of Rona. And well before the fire, because everything was still green. And I spent the whole day dialing through every single stinking repeater that's on repeater book within a 120-mile radius. And guess what I found?
All full.
Exactly. Actually, there was one that was not. There was one. It's northwest of us, and there's a lot of rocks and stuff in the way. The problem is, it is right next to 147.000. So we would definitely be interfering. So the plan is now is we're going to go evens instead of the odds that we use here in Northern California. We're going to do what they do in Southern California. So we'll be in between. Just basically got to get in there and grab a pair and put it up there and deal with the non-coordination part of it down the road. We can do that sooner, hopefully, but we might lose the Wires X feature until we get internet established for it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's our plans for internet? Are we going to beam it up there?
There's internet up on the hill. We just have to get permission to use it.
Okay.
Can we do UHF instead of VHF?
Yeah, we could.
Would there be extra frequencies available on UHF?
Yeah, but
everything's
go ahead.
They got this thing called PavePause over the horizon radar that's sitting over at Beale Air Force Base, and they basically said, "We're here. We got bigger guns than you, so therefore you must submit to using minuscule power." And or basically, they basically neuter you for actually having any real capability on UHF. That's why you don't find that much in the valley being used. You can go out to the coast and you find a lot of UHF, but here in the area, because of PavePause, we're kind of got the short end of the stick on that, unfortunately.
That's right.
There's a gentleman in Concord, Bobby Lee. He just bought one of those, and I think he's going to stick it 30, 40 feet up at his house in Concord. So that could be interesting for people that can reach that. He's very much into the digital. Does a lot of DMR code plugging, and I think he has almost all the Yaesu Fusion radios. So that could also be an option.
Hey, Jason, in fact, tomorrow, if you're going to or coming back from work tomorrow, you'll be able to hit the repeater pretty much from Parrish. Parrish, just basically as soon as you get past the Lake Herman, just north of that. Once you get past that hill, you should be able to start picking up the actual Fusion repeater.
Yeah, I've done some experimenting here from my home with the 991A, but right now the car just has the 8900. The Jeep is holding the 400, and I don't commute.
Used for the drive the Jeep.
I don't commute.
There's another repeater somewhere in our area that's using the same pair as that we've got the Fusion repeater on right now. Because I was trying to get into Wires X like 2 weeks ago, and you could hear these guys off in the distance complaining about some type of interference, which I think the interference was me trying to do the digital mode on the same pair.
Yeah, it's
Believe it or
Tuolumne
not-
County.
Yeah,
Tuolumne County Aries.
Copperopolis area. That's 83 miles away.
Wow.
And and it comes in pretty strong. It's because they're at altitude, so they have the height advantage to get down there. So imagine if we had it up there on Mount Vaca, we'd be just glaring and blaring right back at them.
That'll fix them.
Well, very good, guys. What do we think? We got 13 minutes after 9.
Yeah. I was looking for a cool picture to show you guys, but I can't seem to find it. We'll do it later.
A cool picture?
Yeah, we're talking about batteries, but anyways.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Bert.
So, having this old HF rig, I was reading on online or whatever. Do you guys still have tube testers?
I know somebody who has one. I actually have an old one. I don't know if it works anymore.
Are they even worth it to get just to see if my tubes still work or they're
the thing about it is your radio. We need to hook it up, measure the output, and then check the voltages on the output tubes. Make sure all that's right, and then after that, I can't remember what the output tubes yours uses. Do you know?
Starts with a 6.
Oh yeah, okay. That narrows it down.
6 and 6J something. I can't remember what the number is.
I don't remember either. But we can get our hands on some of those. There's some guys out there that have those tubes, and we'll just get another set and stick it in there and see if it works. There's guys out there with stuff. We just have to ask them, and they'll let us try it. See if that way you're not buying tubes and stuff and not making any progress. But first we got to check and see if the radio, we just look at the service manual, and that service manual is readily available, and we'll just do the checks on it and see what it does and decide if it's the tubes or if there's another component that's defective.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I was trying to mess with 10 meters last night, and I was just like, the pre-select was like going up into the 15 meter and going beyond the 10 meter section of it, and I was just like, whoa, why is it way up here? that kind of thing.
Well, that literally could just be a mechanical calibration thing. I don't know. When you were turning the pre-select knob and you're listening to it, as you turned it, and did the noise get louder? Like it was more sensitive, but the arrows showed it was closer to 15 than it was 10.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about that. I would. But you're receiving good though, right?
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, I'm not getting anything from 10 because I don't know if anybody's on 10, but I'm not even hearing anything on 10.
Yeah,
really.
I would. Yeah, that's probably nobody's there. But what about 80 and 40 and 20?
Yeah, I hear 80, 40, 20. I hear all the CW stuff and whatever you like. I've even heard you talking like a couple of nights ago.
Oh yeah.
You and
Wait, hold on. What did it sound good?
You sounded great.
Hey, wait a minute.
That's all that really matters. I mean, did I sound one better than somebody else that's on the screen?
Oh, let's say you sounded like 5.
No.
I
just my China microphone here.
Jeez, Bruce. I would not admit to that.
I think I have the same one, Bruce.
I was the only one on the air that didn't have a real radio. Everybody had 7300s and one person had a 991, and I had like an old radio, made out of a cat's whisker and a piece of wood.
That was Tuesday night, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then a couple more guys came in from Oregon and Washington State too.
Yeah,
they
it was fun.
They palled in like they were eavesdropping on us, and they wanted to get in on the conversation.
Well, that's because they want to be part of our zip code, man. We're cool, or just nice. I think that's what it is.
Which one, the Vacaville or the Fairfield?
It was the Vacaville zip code because those guys are cool.
Yeah, the Vacaville Superstation.
Yeah, those superstations. We got Bruce and Jason and Art and who else was over there, man? Somebody else was blasting me, man.
Fred, I think Fred FRD, the guy Mark in Rio Vista. Remember Mark?
Mark.
Yep.
That was great to hear Mark.
Everybody was just pegging my needles. Like I actually turned my radio off and I could still hear Bruce.
BQX. Sometimes Doug KC7ADD gets in there.
Yep.
And the night before that, U1Q Mitch in San Anselmo, he popped in really strong.
I don't know that.
There's other life on the radio besides the repeater, and sometimes we just disappear off the repeater and end up with a different microphone hooked to a different radio.
Well,
good call.
We have Jason. I have this microphone hooked to our.
Oh, brother!
Yeah,
that you're calling that a microphone?
You know what? I just lied. Sorry, I lied. I have this microphone hooked to my.
Oh, that's more like it.
This is what I have. I'm sorry, I forgot.
A Sears Road Talker.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Whatever it is.
It's not
Radio Shack.
It's not a real radio mic unless it needs a 9-volt battery.
That's right.
Oh, that's a static.
D104.
104.
I'll bring next week. I'll bring it out. The D104, the Silver Eagle lollipop thing. I actually have one. It's actually kind of pretty. I've never used it, but it looks cool.
I haven't used one of those since my chicken band days.
Good buddy. Good buddies.
We went there too.
Yeah.
Silver Golden Eagle chicken band mic. I'm trying to. No, I don't have anything that goes that far back in my. Nope.
Bruce loves a good show and tell.
Nothing that far back, Kevin.
But did you have the handheld version?
I inherited that microphone. It wasn't because I was cool and had one. My uncle gave it to me a few years ago.
I mean, my grandma had a potbelly stove in her kitchen. It burned real wood. You flip up the lid, throw in a piece of wood, some newspaper. That's how she cooked. And I thought that was so cool. And that reminded me of Kevin's radios. Potbelly cast iron stove. a wood burner in her kitchen, and that was her real stove. I'm not kidding you. That my grandma cooked every day on that, and always had a kettle of hot water boiling on top of it.
Hey, you hold on to your hat there, buddy. I'm gonna go from 1986 to 2006 real soon here. Okay,
Boy,
I'm gonna jump. Yeah, 20 years.
Bruce,
and I'll
this
still
sounds
be-
like before Interstate 80 was dug in, huh?
That was Highway 40.
There was wooden spoke wheels rolling down the dirt.
Yeah, I've lived here that long, actually.
Oh, snowmobile wagons.
That's
Hey
right.
guys, I'm gonna call it a night. Okay.
Yes. All right, hold on.
Oh, Doug, go ahead, Doug.
Okay, 2 comments. As a kid, my mom and dad and I was born in Richmond,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad you still let me in the club.
We love you, man. Anyways,
We didn't know till now.
Oh, shoot. I should have kept my mouth shut. We would drive from Richmond up to Reno so my parents could be entertained. And Richmond to Vacaville seemed like the end of the world. I thought at any moment we were just going to drive off the edge of the world.
Yep.
And
That's
now,
back. Yeah, mm-hmm.
and that was on Highway 40.
Yep.
Oh.
It was two lanes
We're talking
going.
2-lane Highway 40, which is like if you're heading westbound, which is the Cherry Glen exit right just past Alamo, which is currently closed off because my company is actually replacing both bridges that were built in 1908. Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
To give you an idea.
Highway 40 still runs through Vacaville. It's called Historic 40.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it runs through Fairfield too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it used to be.
Lion
Actually,
Road.
Rockville Road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lion Road, Rockville Road.
And
Cherry
actually,
Glen
I lived right off of 40 in Colorado, Colfax Avenue. It was the longest street in the U.S.
So I got you guys beat with this. I've lived here so long that we didn't have a McDonald's or a Baskin Robbins in Fairfield. You had to go to the big town of Vallejo if you wanted a McDonald's hamburger. Okay. Yeah. You had to drive that funky road to get over there. Actually, by then they had the super slab so you could go get a hamburger. Yeah. There was no McDonald's in Fairfield when I was a kid.
Yep.
We had SIDS, though.
I remember when McDonald's was put in by the El Portal Plaza in San Pablo.
Yeah, and remember, I don't know if you guys remember that. I think it was it KNBA or the Vallejo AM radio station. The McDonald's was right there, just not too far from that Vallejo radio station. There was an AM. It's like a 5,000 watt radio station right there. So we got to go get our new school clothes at the Sears, and if we were lucky, and I mean lucky, we got to go to McDonald's when we were done.
5,000 watts is 1/10 of a Class A station.
Yeah,
50,000 watts.
But you know what? It was enough that it stayed there until I was adult and started getting into AV stuff, and a lot of the churches that bought the new mixer. I don't want to pick on them, but Mackie came out with their new cost-effective consoles, and the old wiring in the buildings. If you didn't set up perfectly, yeah, you had a radio receiver. It was interesting. If you're anywhere around Broadway in Vallejo, and you had a system set up, if you didn't have it right, you were picking up that AM radio station. And I fixed a ton of them. We actually drilled a hole through the concrete floor at a church, and it used to be an old Safeway.
And put a ground rod.
Put a ground rod in, and we isolated the ground from the building because the building ground sucks so bad for that purpose. It was like an antenna, and the guys were amazed. I plugged the console in. I took a 50 or 60 foot mic cable, plugged it into one channel, nothing else hooked up. Plugged headphones in, threw it out on the floor, and they could hear the radio station. But that was an extreme case. That radio station's gone now. I don't know. They took it down. Some ham got the tower. I hope. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys. I gotta go.
All right, let me just give you the second item real quick.
Okay.
Earlier in the meeting, we talked about while we were talking with Art, we talked about John Painter, who lives up in Napa on Steel Canyon Drive.
Yes.
And I texted Brian KB0A, and he sent me John's contact information. He's not on our member list anymore, but he was back in 2018.
Okay.
I called the phone number. I'm sorry, I texted the phone number because to me it looked like a cell phone number. And then I used my Secret Squirrel Cyber Stalker software and looked him up, and that was actually a landline. So I tried to call and leave a message and no answer. So long story short, don't have any information on John Painter, but I'll try and dig up a little more.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doug. I appreciate it.
John's that was Barry S. John, and last I talked to him, his wife was very, very, very sick, and he was putting most of his energy into tending to her.
Okay.
Well, I hope they're okay.
Well, he might have evacuated with her early.
Yeah, that would have been the wise thing to do. That's for sure. Probably did that. All right, guys. I got to get up, do some stuff tomorrow, do a couple things before I hit the hay tonight. So,
thanks, Kevin.
Well, thank you guys. This is hey, we were out here for 2.5 hours. Holy cow!
Just chit chatting. Yeah, great to see everyone. Next month is October. We'll see what that will hold for us. Right? Unknown right now.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And thank you, Jay, for all you do.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and
Bye
go
now.
All right.
Thank you. Enjoy it.
All right.
Good night.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
7-3.